Look at Thursday morning, south central light snow once again falling across the region. Really been dealing with that since about 5 to 6 a.m. for parts of south central, and snow has been light to fall, but will begin to increase in intensity at times throughout the remainder of the day. You can go ahead and take a live look outside, and you can see just what we're dealing with across south central. Very fine light flurries across the good portion of the region. That cloud deck continues to lower across south central, but what we're going to be watching through the day is a 1-2 punch with our weather systems. We got the first system that's ongoing across south central that will drop just a couple of inches of snowfall in some locations, and then our secondary system, which arrives into the evening hours, which has the potential to pack a punch and even heavier snowfall totals. We'll get to that as we continue to progress through the forecast as we welcome in the weekend. But you can see right now across the state, 27 degrees in Anchorage, 22 in Fairbanks, 28 McGrath. We've got snow showers occurring from the slope out through western Alaska and of course here in south central. So winter weather still taking hold across the state. Notice through the Aleutians as well as out towards southeast, different story. You've got some peaks of sunshine in the forecast, but southeast actually set to return to that wet weather pattern overnight on into your Friday, where we're going to see that really kick-starting what's going to be a wet week and weekend into next week for a good portion of the panhandle. What we're dealing with right now, you can see still dealing with that area of low pressure just south of Russia. That's keeping some snow showers out towards the Yukon Delta, the Mulatto Hills, as well as the eastern Norton Sound, where we do have that winter weather advisory that remains in effect until noon. And then of course here in south central we do have that snow that is falling across the region, with areas out towards Prince William Sound also seeing some rain embedded within that. With that being said, areas out towards the western Kenai into the Anchorage Bowl as well as into parts of the valley could see a brief opportunity through the day where some rain can mix in with that snow as temperatures warm later this afternoon. So there's that winter weather advisory we've got in place for areas out west. As we continue to head through the remainder of the day, only an additional 1 to 2 inches of snowfall can be expected for locations out near the Bering Sea with gusts of 40 miles per hour, which will lead to some lowering visibility down to less than a half a mile at times. But let's get a big bird's eye view of what's going on across the state. We've got a ridge of high pressure that's in the northern Pacific Ocean, and of course we've got that area of low pressure in the Bering. Embedded within that, we've got that persistent southwest flow that's continuing to pull in that deep fetch of tropical moisture. And so that warmer weather we're going to see with that moisture building into south central will lead to some areas of wintry mix. We're also still holding on to some windy conditions across the state. Notice through the Aleutians out towards western and southwest Alaska, those winds have been gusting anywhere from about 30 to nearly 45 miles per hour. That persistent southwest flow is also bringing in some warmer conditions for the Aleutians and areas out west. But what we're going to be watching here across south central as we head through the day is our winds. They're actually going to play a huge role in determining just how much snow we're going to get as we welcome in the evening hours. So notice these temperatures today. Starting off this morning at 10 a.m., 32 degrees. We do warm into the upper 30s and the lower 40s. There's that chance of some rain mixing in with that snow as we head through the late afternoon and early evening hours. And looking ahead, you can see that area of low pressure. This is system number 1, just south of Prince William Sound, really out towards Middleton Island. What's going to happen through the remainder of this morning? You can kind of see begins to somewhat fall apart. We've got some scattered periodic snow showers staying with us, and then some areas of rain embedded within that. But notice that fine clear line from Anchorage down through western parts of the Kenai. That's our lull in precipitation that we will see as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. What we're going to be watching later during the day is our turning and arm winds develop. Those southeasterly winds wrapping into the Anchorage Bowl could gust anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour. So as system number 1 exits, we actually begin to see system number 2 move up the Alaska Peninsula and through Cook Inlet. This is actually going to lead to a shift in our winds from the southeast to the west. And what's going to happen, these two winds are going to meet and converge in the middle, and what's going to occur when that happens is it's going to cause uplift, enhance that precipitation potential across south central. And this is what we like to call a convergence band, and you can see that setting up through the overnight hours on into Friday. The difficulty when it comes to forecasting this is these convergence bands very narrow, about 10 to 50 miles wide, so very hard to pinpoint just exactly where it's going to set up shop. But within this band of that heavier snowfall, we're talking about the likelihood of 1 to 2 inches of snowfall per hour overnight on into our Friday. Where that sets up shop will greatly determine just how much snow we're going to see for parts of South Central. And right now it is looking like we'll see that band set up shop somewhere within the valley down through the Anchorage Bowl and western parts of the Kenai. And that is where it's favoring right now to see that heavier potential. And then you can see as we welcome in our Friday, that activity kind of tapers off across the region. So how much snow are we talking about? Well, right now the current thinking is with the snow that we're dealing with this morning may bring a trace amount to just a few inches of snowfall in locations that do manage to see some heavier activity through the northern Susitna Valley. We could see up to 5 inches of snowfall. But again, tonight is when we really pick up that moisture potential across South Central. So if you step outside this afternoon and you're like, where's all this snow? Well, it's because most of it arrives tonight into tomorrow morning. And you can really see that on that snow total forecast. Notice that narrow band of heavier snowfall across western parts of South Central, from Talkeetna through Wasilla down to Anchorage and then through parts of the Kenai as well. This is where we could see 4+ inches of snowfall accumulation total. That takes into account this morning and into the evening hours, and that's certainly something we want to watch. If we do not see that convergence band set up tonight, we'll likely wake up tomorrow morning with 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. If it does happen and we see that heavier snowfall, we do have that potential of seeing 4+ inches and an outside possibility we could see a brand new seasonal snowfall record as we close the door on Friday and welcome in the weekend. Speaking of those snowiest seasons, we're currently, if the season were to end today, the 4th snowiest on record at 128.2 inches. So all we need is 6.3 inches. Even if we got 4 inches, we would bump up to 3rd place and just about 0.4 inches away from securing a 2nd place spot. So still going to be one of the snowiest seasons that we've seen in recorded history, but we're certainly going to continue to watch the system as it unfolds through the remainder of the day. Temperatures 39 in Anchorage, 22 in Dead Horse. We've got 35 degrees for the high today in Bethel, so many areas across the state continues to warm, and we're going to stay with this warm weather pattern as we close out this week and welcome in the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, inland areas of South Central, we're going to hold on to that cloud coverage. May see some sparse snow showers and wintry mix, but the better chance for any precipitation this weekend will be coastal regions. So inland locations will largely stay dry. As far as what we're going to see next week, there is another shot of seeing some wintry mix in the forecast with temperatures sitting in the upper 30s. Now I'll go ahead and tell you our average last snowfall in Anchorage is April 18th. So we're really narrowing that corridor and beginning to approach that time of the year where it's going to get harder and harder to see some snowfall. With that said, beyond April 18th, there has been at least 5 years where we've seen consecutive snowfall totals exceeding 5 inches beyond April 18th. So the possibility is there, but it's very slim that if we do not hit that seasonal snowfall record tonight into tomorrow, there is that slight possibility that we could still see it as we welcome in the rest of April. But for now, if you have any time to get outdoors and take in this snowfall, just be careful on the roadways as we continue to deal with this snow that's going to be falling across South Central. We're going to watch for that chance for some rain developing later today within that snowfall that's embedded across South Central, giving you a live look at what we're seeing outside. Again, across South Central, those winds beginning to pick up in those higher elevations. Be prepared. Some locations will see some breezy conditions later today. We'll have more on that coming up in the noon show as well as into the evening newscast. For now, have a great Thursday and be safe on those roadways.